Hey, you went from Pawnee City to Florida. Was that your first real stop?
Yeah, I went from Pawnee City to Florida, and I hated it when I was first there because, man, I love Pawnee City. And then I moved to Florida, and, you know, everybody always used to say, oh, this guy's not a country guy. He went to a private school in Florida. And I did. I went to the 5th largest Christian school in the United States. And yes, I did go to that school, but I got to go for free because my dad was the principal. And I only lasted 2 years, and I went to another one. And I'll be honest, we weren't very well off, that's for sure. I grew up in a house that was condemned, and my dad got permission that if he was able to fix it up to where it was livable, that we could live in the house and they didn't condemn it. So that's what he did.
Was your dad funny?
My dad was, he was an entertainer. My dad had one of the best country rhythm and blues bands in the state of Nebraska back in the 70s called the Memphis Beats. He preached at 2 churches on Sunday, played in the band on weekends, and then was a guidance counselor. But he was funny. Yeah, Dad could make some jokes, but, you know, the funniest people in my family were my brother and my sister, and my mom was pretty funny. Everybody was pretty funny in the family. You know, I think that's how I got my timing, you know. My dad was a preacher, and I know that faith is important to you. You're involved in the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, and I think that's such an awesome thing. And can you just discuss a little of that, why that is so important to you?
It is. Well, that would be a long discussion, but...
Well, yeah, it is.
At the core of everything we do, there better be a rock-solid foundation. Otherwise, we're just chasing our tail through life. And I think if your priorities aren't in a really good place, you're setting yourself up for a lot of trouble. And I had good parents, too, and good people along the way with Coach Osborne, Coach Brown, and other people. And whenever faith is the most important thing in my life and I keep it there, good things happen. And whenever I stray from that, things don't turn out as well. But it's easy to get distracted for all of us by everything going on. We have distractions everywhere, from the cell phone in our pocket to everything in the world. And it's hard to keep your mind on the right things, but it's real important that we do.
Let me ask this. What's the last TV series you ever watched?
Last TV series, just got done with Ozark. My wife and I started watching Outlander. Have you seen that?
I've never seen Outlander. I heard it's pretty good.
It's worth it. It's worth it, yeah.
I don't watch a lot of TV. If it's not sports, I don't watch it. But generally, I'm not a big...
Tell you what, I don't either. The quarantine life is the only thing that changed that. I'd have sports on all the time if I could. There's nothing on.
We were binging Green Acres the other day. My wife loves it. I love it. It's way better.
Some of those shows were so good. Green Acres, Hogan's Heroes.
Dude, Green Acres, when you watch it now, the writing on that show, well, since I'm a comedian, I do one-liners. I mean, it's perfect because the writing is so good and so funny on that show. From that 97 run that you had, what's your most memorable moment from that whole? I mean, people probably going to say the catch, but is it something else that we know about?
Kind of that whole year for me, kind of the redemption of that whole year. The Washington game was big. Beating Oklahoma like we did at home was big. But the Missouri game, you know, there's some things. They just played that on ESPN 8 or something the other day. And I watched it for the first time in 15 years, and there's some things I didn't remember. Right before that play, I remember, some people probably heard this, but I went over to the sideline, and there was 7 seconds left, and Coach Osborne was going to run an option. And you're looking at how they were lined up, it would have worked. We were going to run an option out of shotgun. We were on the 9-yard line or whatever, and Turner Gill and I kind of convinced him that we had time to throw to the end zone one more time, and we'd have time left on the clock to run whatever we wanted the next play. So I kind of had a mental clock in my head and looked one way, looked the other way, threw it, and right after I threw it, I looked up to the scoreboard. And if you watch that replay, I even watching it the other day, when Matt caught the ball, there was still 2 seconds on the clock. And so I never saw him catch the ball. I'm just looking up at the scoreboard to make sure we have time for another play and look back down and see the touchdown. But the Missouri clock operator let the clock run out anyway. So, and that was before replay. So we'd had a hard time getting the play off if he hadn't come in and caught that.
I'll tell you my coolest get her done moment. I'm doing Regis and Kelly. I did it show like 8 times. So I knew my ropes around pretty good, and everybody was really cool with me. So I'm just kind of wandering around, saying hi to people. And my manager, Maggie, she goes, "Man, Denzel Washington is in the dressing room right down there. Oh, you think we can get a picture with Denzel Washington?" I go, "Well, yeah, Maggie, why not? He's on the show. He's taping for, so."
He's not as sexy as you.
Well, obviously not. Who can be? Not a lot can. So she goes, "Yeah, he's really nice. Just go down there and ask him. He'll take your picture." I said, "All right." So I start walking with Maggie down there, and all of a sudden, here comes Denzel Washington out of his dressing room, dressed in this awesome suit, walking with that Denzel swagger. And just as I was about to say, "Can we get a picture with you?" he goes just like this. "Get her done,
No,
Larry."
he didn't.
Yeah, he goes, "Get her done, Larry the Cable Guy." He goes, "What's going on, partner?"